Hello, neighbor. Marcus Stiles from Heyven here. As you know, Heyven is a virtual neighborhood for creators, businesses, and nonprofits to connect with the people, partner, and resources they need to thrive. Today, I am joined by the fairy godmother of tech, Beth.
Hello.
It's so good to see you today.
Good to be here.
Let's tell them the story. So tell me, what's the story behind becoming the Beth Riegger that we know today?
Well, it started when I was born. No, I'm just kidding. I was hopping around a couple of jobs. I worked in car sales actually for 15 years, and I did mortgages for a while and did a couple of other things and decided to buy a spa. Yes, I owned a spa with a friend of mine, and she said, Beth, I went to beauty school. You went to business school. So I handled all the business stuff. And we went into debt and bought a website because it was either pay $5,000 for a website or your friend's buddy that still lives in mom and dad's basement, 500 bucks and a case of beer for a website. And it looked like it cost 500 bucks and a case of beer. So you've seen
You
them.
know, you know.
You know. And we went into debt and change your price. What if? And they're like, you can pay us $300 an hour to do it, or you can figure it out on your own. Beth figured it out on her own.
I'm proud of you.
And I started seeing my friends and fellow business people struggling with the same struggles, paying so much money. And our site was built in WordPress. And so I learned WordPress. And so I started saying, hey, I'll do that for you for, XYZ amount, or I'll do that for you for XYZ amount. And I decided that I really enjoyed building websites more than I enjoyed running uh, a spa in retail. And so my business partner and I went our separate ways, and that's how Keys to Success started 15 years ago.
Okay. I was not expecting that. I was totally like, oh yeah, like college, late nights, and then you're like, I gotta do marketing, and you hit me with a spot.
Yeah, it fell into my lap. I get it. I understood it. I've been in sales and marketing for 30 years, and so I come at websites from a sales and marketing kind of a standpoint.
Okay, so for the folks who are watching who may not know what services you offer, could you tell us a little bit of about what you offer for people?
Yeah, absolutely. I offer VIP websites. I build them in WordPress using the Divi theme. If that's important to you, most people it's not. They just care about getting the website of their dreams with a flick of my magic wand. And I also do some automations with Funnel Gorgeous and some websites with Funnel Gorgeous and Go High Level. That's me in a nutshell.
That's awesome. I love that you focus. So, if I'm hearing it right, you focus on website sales and marketing. I love that. As we both know, there are a lot of marketing professionals out there, right? But what makes you stand out, Miss Godmother?
Well, I think it's because of my 30 years in sales and marketing. A lot of web designers have gone to school for graphic design, and they may have touched on sales and marketing, but they haven't really focused on it. And so you get a beautiful website and it works fantastically, but it wasn't built with sales in mind. And your website should be your perfect sales page, your perfect salesperson that sells you and what you do. And I think that's one of the major things that makes me different.
Yeah, I think that your experience really shows. I feel like every time I talk to you, you have just like such. You make it sound so easy with the conversations that we've talked where I share you an idea and you're just yeah. And I'm yeah. And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels so approachable and I feel very comfy with you whenever I share an idea because I think you really get it. You see both the design side and the strategy side, but what is something that people may not realize about your work until they work with you?
The The biggest fear that people have when they come to me is they're scared of tech, that it just intimidates them. Whether you're a man or a woman, you've been in business for 30 years, you've been in business for 5 minutes, it's scary. And like you said, I make things easy. I like to say I speak geek as well as human, and I try and make things easy for people. I'm not to the point where I'm talking down to you where you feel like I'm treating you like a third grader or something. If you know about SEO, we'll talk about SEO terms. If you know about WordPress, we'll talk about WordPress terms. But if you don't, we'll talk in website terms and we'll use the terms that are familiar to you. And I think that's one of the things that um, people really like about me.
I think that like myself being a visual translator, and sometimes a communications translator, I think that like it's so hard to get out of our world and to like step back into our world because there's so much translating that we're doing because we're looking at it from like the big brain, but we're trying
Mm-hmm.
to like break it down in a way where it's digestible. But something I'm curious about is what is a day in the life with you?
Well, what I really like about what I do is every day is different. I like to do my websites in a VIP day format. So I'll do a lot of networking, I'll do a lot of reach out, a lot of stuff on social media. And then the process for doing a website itself is we have our design call. We set things up, we go over what you like, what your colors are. I make sure I can log into everything. And then the day of, I only work on you. That's it. Other customers text me, I text them back and say, sorry, I'm doing a VIP day. I'll get back to you tomorrow. And I focus 100% on you so that your website is the best it can be. We don't have any waiting, going back and forth, waiting for passwords and password resets and confirmation codes and all of those kinds of things. We're prepared. And that's what I really enjoy about how I deliver websites. But I also like that I can do different things every day.
A little variety every day literally has never hurt anyone. I don't you just like love when you're like working on something and then you're like, I'm gonna work on something else because you just
Yeah.
like want a little bit of like a change.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely.
So let's say someone was just like, oh yeah, she's the godmother fairy for me, right? What is the best way to reach you?
The best way to reach out to me is either through my website, fairygodmotheroftech.com, or you can reach out to me via email, beth at fairygodmotheroftech.com. You can also catch me on Instagram, Fairy Godmother of Tech, and
I'm noticing a little bit of a theme here.
just a little bit of a theme. And yes, I do have some wands.
Yes, comes in your client package. Okay, well, I loved hearing about your business, but now I have some very fun questions for you. So, what is a song that perfectly describes your business vibe?
So I thought about this one a lot, and I went back and forth between lots of different songs, but I might look over here for a couple of my notes. But I really wanted a Taylor Swift song. You knew it, didn't you? You totally knew it.
I There are two people I've done interviews for, and I said they're both going to choose Taylor Swift, and you
Yeah,
both
we
have
both
chosen
did.
Taylor Swift.
So I'm picking Bejeweled. And
No, 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 that's cute.
when I walk in the room, yep. And because I believe when I do walk in the room, I make the place shimmer. And I've been told that my vibe is contagious, and because I'm happy, other people are happy, and that's my song.
I like your song. Mine is obviously House by Beyonce because who did they came to see? Me.
Me.
Last question here, and you've been doing so great. What is one thing you love about your local community that you serve?
What I really love about the community that I serve is that I serve the helpers. Every client that I've had success with has been a helper of some kind. Um, so I've helped coaches, I've helped chiropractors, But anyway, even roofing and siding contractors, you wouldn't think they're the helpers, would you? But it's the people that I work with have servant hearts, and that's the most important thing to me when I work with somebody, when I'm talking about working with somebody, is they have to have that servant heart. And that's what I love doing.
What do you mean by servant heart? I'm curious.
I don't know. Have you ever heard of the saying selling is serving?
Yes.
So it's kind of like that. It's not about I'm selling to make money to make money. It's I know your roof collapsed because of the storm and I really want to help you. And yes,
Sell
it's
me with
great to
heart.
make money. Yes.
Okay. I like to sell with heart also.
Yes.
Well, that concludes our time here. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy, busy day as a fairy godmother. For everyone at home who's watching, say hey to Beth Riegger and bye, neighbor.